Hey, Cheri, welcome
Thank
to the Imperfectly Charming blogcast slash podcast. This is the podcast portion of it. And I want to welcome my good friend Cheri Neal. Hi,
thank you
Cheri, how
so
are
much.
you?
Hello. I just want to say how proud I am of you and how much I love listening to your the podcast portion. So I always loved reading your blogs, but I'm an audio girl, so I really appreciate being able to hear your stories in your own voice. So thank you for taking that next leap.
Oh, thank you, Cheri. And thank you for always being a champion of mine. You have always been in my corner. And ditto, I'm always in your corner.
Yeah.
So just to give the audience a little brief a history of us. So Cheri and I have known each other for quite a long time. I think since 2011 officially. Officially. We've been in the same circles throughout our life. We've had same friends here and there, same family friends. And Cheri and I have been let's see, we've been friends and colleagues, and we've been students together. We've been fellow coaches. We've done retreats and workshops. And you are my township supervisor for the city of Zion.
Yes, I am.
And this is a special spring edition. Welcome to spring, because we're going to be talking about your new project in a few minutes. But I want to have you just tell everybody a little bit about you.
Well, what I love about answering this question is because Sheryl is also, which she didn't mention, my life coach. I have hired her to help me to overcome some different things in my life. And one of them is actually being able to say out loud, like in a succinct way, who I am. So I'm going to share with you what we've been working on. Who am I? I'm a writer and an author who's madly in love with monarchs and zinnias because of their beauty and their power and their potential, like madly in love with them. I'm passion coach, consultant, and professional speaker. I'm on a mission to awaken others to their own power and potential, connecting them with their greatest gifts and their talents. And like we said, I'm a full-time public servant working every day to transform my community. I'm also a minister. I'm gifted in holding space for people's darkest hours by officiating funerals. That's one of my favorite things that I get to do. And I'm an overcomer. I've recovered from alcoholism, made friends with my body, and I faced my greatest fears in a myriad of ways. But most importantly, I'm a child of God, determined to tap into my own power and potential, co-creating a life, a community, and a world that we can all be proud of. And just to share with you, so in a coaching session with Sheryl, one of the things I had to overcome was the story in my head of don't get too big for your britches. That was one of the things that I was told all growing up when I was little. And recently I listened to a book and the author talked about how we are literally stardust, that we are literally made of stardust. And so Sheryl helped me to come up with my new mantra. Britches? I ain't got no britches. I'm stardust. But we all are. And so I'm really driven to help everybody to tap into the stardust in their own lives to become who they're destined to be instead of who everybody else has told them that they're supposed to be their whole lives. So how's that, Sheryl?
That was perfect, Cheri. It was amazing. And I love that new mantra. And I love that we're all stardust.
You're
And
awesome.
that little word has been on my heart too. So that may become a blog one of these days, or a blogcast, or a podcast.
Right. Mm,
Yes. So Cheri is with me today because she has got an amazing program that she's been developing, and it's all based around a book that she wrote called Seeds of Joy, Growing Zinnias and Your Zest for Life. It's a
mm.
beautiful little book, and she is developing a 16-week course, a coaching circle course, correct, Cheri?
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to have a little bit of a conversation around that with you today because it's spring and
Yeah.
now is the time, right? And you and I have been on this transformational journey for a long time. And
Long.
it never ends. It never ends. You're never going to get to the destination. It's the journey.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your Seeds of Joy program. And I do want to ask you some questions. I like what led you to write Seeds of Joy?
Mm,
And could you share a pivotal moment that planted the seed for this book in your heart?
mm. Yeah, it was really weird. Even like coming across zinnias, I took a trip with seniors to Lilacs in Lombard, and driving home realized that like if we had our own flower, maybe people would want to drive to Zion, Illinois. And so I was up all night looking up different kinds of flowers, and I tripped on the zinnia. And they say that in Zen culture, zinnias represent joy. And in my heart, what better do you want to plant than joy in a community? And zinnias, they actually come from tiny to huge and in every color except for blue. And it reminded me of my community that we come in every shade, every size. It's part of the magic of our community, I believe. And so I reached out to a zinnia grower, and she shared with me all of the things it would take to actually make the zinnia, the Zion flower. And it was way too much work. So I didn't do it, but I started growing zinnias, and I am so madly in love with them. And I just started like thinking about like literally the zinnia seed and the power in one seed, to like it just grows and it transforms. And one seed is literally like an eternity of blooms, an eternity. Like it like grows one bush, and each bloom is a packet of seeds, and you replant them and they grow, and each one, I mean, just it showed me so much about like we think that we live in this scarcity mentality where there's not enough, but really there is like so much more than any of us even knows. And so that led me on a path to just taking that seed and just writing out like a coaching guide, from having the seed to planting to the blooms to harvesting the seeds. And I had it in a drawer, never really intending on like doing anything with it. I had just written it out, and I had an election that came up, and it was brutal. When like you see like people that are running for election and they're taking these pot shots at people, the person they're taking a pot shot at is a human being, right? With a family and a heart. And I was tore up. And a mentor of mine, she recommended that I just redirect my energy to do something that would bring me joy. And so she was like, so what about writing a book? I'm like, what? And so I dusted it off and I pulled it out, and we actually did it. And so this was in 2017. So we did the book, and then I even got zinnia seed packets with the cover of my book on it, right? What a fun, cool thing.
Love it.
Um, and then I did a workbook to go with the book, and had a lot of fun doing that. But the trauma from the election, after everything, all the dust settled, and I had like this sense of shame about it, and I didn't understand what it was. And so I literally, since 2018, done nothing with the book pretty much. And so then recently, I've taken some adventures and working on myself, and I brought the book with me to Arizona, and with a red pen saying, look, if there's something wrong with this book, then fix it, but quit like not sharing it. And so I took the red pen and I went through the book, and there was not one letter that I would change, not one. And realized that like everything is in there that I wish to God somebody would have given me at some point early in my life to just help me to start shifting the way that I thought about things. And so that was when I reached out to Sheryl, and I reached out. I'm working with another gal because I'm finishing my book, Messages of the Monarch, How to Find Our Wings and Fly, which I've been raising monarch butterflies for a very long time. And so that's another journey I'm taking. But I felt really strongly that I needed to come back and revisit this. And so working with Mary Helen Conroy, we're looking to hopefully publish it as a set, and do a relaunch with that shortly. But then I thought, you know what a perfect time to just do a coaching circle around it. And just go through week by week for 1 hour and give people an opportunity to just really sink into some things. Whew. So yeah, that's the story.
Okay, I want to go back just a little bit because you
Okay.
had said, you were expecting to mark up that book and you didn't like it, and there wasn't one single thing that you would change about it.
No,
And
no.
that is an important lesson for all of us
Mm,
because we all think negatively in our head and we're not even allowing ourselves to grow because we're stuck in that fear of moving past it.
Yeah.
And after you had the courage to step up and go through your book again, it was amazing. And you didn't want to change a thing. And I'm so proud that you, Cheri, are recognizing that, because we don't recognize that in ourselves enough.
Yeah.
It holds us back. It holds us back from our superpowers, from our greatness, from our gifts.
Hmm.
So I'm so proud that you stepped up and did that. And look
Well,
what you're going to be offering the world. It's
oh,
part of your gift.
well,
It's part of
all
your gift.
because like having the courage to reach out to you, I believe, to coach me, because there is something. So I was raised my whole life of like, don't get too big for your britches, right? And so me creating something, but then like having to like put it out to the world. Woo! There is something like so huge in me, right? That my internal judge that like is doing everything to like to stomp that down, and being able to work with you and help me to like tap into why this matters, and that it can really help people to like come into their own. And I want to do that more than I want to do anything. So I just want to thank you. And I highly recommend Sheryl as a coach. She's an incredible life coach. So, so that was an
Cannot pay
unpaid
her. I
advertisement.
cannot pay her to say that.
No, no, actually, I pay her. No.
Cheri, you were talking about our inner judge, and Cheri and I were in a program together that we both teach, and it is about taking that inner judge, turning it, flipping it on its head, and listening to our inner wisdom. She knows she's our true north. So I think that program that we both teach is part of our transformational journey,
Yeah.
and our success is listening to our wise sage self.
Mm,
Not that that little ugly inner demon doesn't come out, because it does. It comes out for both of us,
yeah.
but we're better at facing it now.
Yeah. Well, and I think a big part of it is like holding space for it, right? To acknowledge it instead of
Yeah,
like trying to shut it
yeah.
down and doing all kinds of things to try and feel better instead of doing things that make us feel better about ourselves. Right. So I was constantly on this, like just trying to, how do we feel better? How do we feel better? Doing things that, like eating things I really don't want to eat, spending money I don't want to spend, it just, and now like working with somebody and addressing that judge in my head, it's like, no, 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 no. All right, I hear what you're saying, but what do I want to be true for my life? And what steps do I want to take in order to make my life better? And I think people think that people that are accomplishing, it's easy for them, but I don't think it's easy for anybody. I think we're all fighting our own inner dialogue that's trying to keep us small. And so, yeah, so I really, really appreciate you holding space for me to like step into this, own it, celebrate it, because it really is. I mean, I feel like, this was my baby, and I'm so proud of her. She is such a delight, and she's got so much to teach. And I don't want to get in her way anymore. I want to be there to support her for whatever impact she can make.
And you shining your light, Cheri, makes me want to shine my light brighter,
Mm,
because when we can see that spark in somebody else, it's gold.
mm,
Gold when we can lift each other up and stand upon each other's shoulders and grab each other's hands and
mm,
lift them up.
hmm.
So I
Well,
appreciate
I'm
you.
honored to be able to do that because you do it for me.
Yes,
Yeah.
we both, yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to talk a little bit more about your program.
Okay.
So let's see. Okay, so your book talks about nurturing our lives and careers as one would care for seedlings.
Mhm.
Can you share a personal antidote where nurturing something with patience and love led to unexpected joy and fulfillment in your life?
Mm. God, there's so many. Um, so running for township supervisor, right? I, it's a longer story, but I've always had a passion for being of service, right? Love being able to be in service in any way that I can. And I attended a Kiwanis meeting and found out about the position, and grew up hating politics, like hating politics. My dad was in politics. But that was the only way that I could have this position, was to do that work. And so nurturing that, I actually ran for the position and I lost by 6 votes. I was so angry at God. We communicated, but it was all with me yelling for like 4 months. And what I didn't know was that in the meantime, I was going to be going through a divorce. And so I ended up running 4 years later and won by a landslide and have been able to make a huge impact ever since. But it was just nurturing that belief in myself that I was supposed to do something impactful for my community, and watering it and not giving up. And yeah, just the things that are happening just in our community with zinnias. Because now the zinnia, just so you know, Zion is there's a resolution in Springfield right now for the zinnia to be the Zion flower. And so Zion will be the zinnia capital of the state of Illinois, which is really freaking exciting, right? And so if you want to check it out, so it all came started that in 2018, we had the mayor vote to make it the Zion flower, and now our state senator and state representative are running with it for us. So we have a huge Zinnia Monarch Festival and Beast 2 the third weekend in August in Zion, Illinois. Would love to check it out. It's easy, zinniaandmonarchfestival.com. But yeah, just so much because of me being willing to nurture that seed. So yeah.
Um, Finding the perfect spot to plant ourselves, right?
Mm.
In life, in work, and relationships is the central theme for your book, right? It's kind of the central theme. So how do you guide your readers and coaching clients to discover their perfect spot?
Mm. I think first is just giving them permission to actually even think about it. We don't, it's like we like go down this river and we just land where we land. We don't realize that we can actually stop, get out and sit on the shore and decide like, is this the river we even want to be on? Or there's other waterways, or what do we want to do? And so it starts with just getting conscious that you really can be in choice. And a lot of times we end up like feeling like victims. Well, no, I can't because I got my grandkids, I got right, and I can't. And it's like, no, but then that's a choice. You're choosing to be here because you want to be close to your grandkids. And it changes your energy when you can be in choice instead of feeling like a victim of your life. There's so many other opportunities that people don't even know that they have. And so it's crazy when you open up to realizing that there's choice. The deck of cards is so much bigger than we even know for what we want to do. And so that's usually the first start.
And I think the whole theme around self-love fits into this perfectly,
Mhm.
because once we can do that, then we can open ourselves up for opportunities like
Mhm.
you're presenting. So how could you describe what you'll be offering to the people in is it 16 week?
16
16 week
weeks. Yep.
coaching circle?
Mhm.
What, tell us a little bit about that and what the people can expect from that.
Well, it starts out in the first week, you find a picture, or in the first couple of weeks, you find a picture of yourself when you were little, right? And so we compare it to the zinnia seed in our own spirit and to re-nurture. And I know a lot of people think that's woo-woo-y and, the inner child stuff, but it's real, you guys. It's absolutely real. There is a part of ourselves that is like steadfast inside of us that runs our lives in a lot of ways. And when we can begin to just like express that part of ourselves and tap back into it, we get to like know ourselves in a whole different way. And so we start there, and there's a number of different exercises each week that help to open up different understandings of ourselves, be kind to ourselves, help us to explore. So being in this circle, it's really a deep dive on yourself, and it's symbolic, the zinnia seed and your own spirit. And it is literally just week by week, a different aspect of looking at your own life and uncovering different aspects of what makes you bloom versus what makes you not bloom in your life. So it's the book, the workbook, and an actual zinnia seed, because I take the zinnia seed and I compare it to your own spirit, and using a picture of yourself when you were small to try and tap into our childlike spirit as we go through this course. And so literally with our group, you'll go through week by week, uncovering different aspects of yourself, but we'll also be preparing the zinnia seeds and planting them and watching them grow in this process. So it's an opportunity to get your hands dirty and to uncover some aspects of yourself that you probably would never tap into without having an experience like this.
It sounds like it's going to be an incredible program. You talked earlier a little bit about our inner child, And that is a powerful thing to start with, my friend. That is what I think put me on the trajectory of my transformational journey. It sped my journey up by doing some of that inner work when we were in that program together. So that is a powerful place to start,
Yeah.
knowing
Yeah.
firsthand
Yeah.
we
It
have
really,
those inner children that are just wanting to be held and cared for and told that everything is going to be okay.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, it's really important work. And I'm excited to, especially for people that have never done anything like that before, this is a really easy step by step into that space to find what like really brings you joy and puts you on purpose and helps you to design a life you love without alienating your family members and the people that love you. Right. So it's not about like packing up and moving. It's just about little things that you can do to start to nurture your own spirit.
Love that, Cheri.
Yeah.
I appreciate so much you taking the time to come on here and talk. And I know that you'll be here in the future because you got some big things coming. You're creating this Joy Conference next year, and we will be hearing more about that. That is going to be an exciting thing, bringing it to the town.
Well, thank you so much for letting me come on and share this exciting opportunity to do this work. And I'm looking forward to whoever says yes and wants to take this journey with me because it will be a very fun journey. So thank you.
And I will put in the show notes how you can get in touch with Cheri. And Cheri, is there any other thing? Like, what if somebody doesn't want to take the course right now? They can still buy your book and your workbook, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll make sure that we post that information as well.
okay. Is there any last words that you want to tell anybody that might be on the fence?
Well, so I would love to in my book. So I actually reached out. There's a story called The Inner Game of Tennis, and the author wrote this about roses, and I actually got in touch with him and got permission to put this in here. And so it's called I renamed it. It was The Rose by Tim Galway, the zinnia. It says when we plant a zinnia seed in the earth, we notice it is small, but we do not criticize it as rootless or stemless. We treat it as a seed, giving it the water and nourishment required of a seed. When it first shoots out of the earth, we don't condemn it as immature or underdeveloped, nor do we criticize the buds for not being open when they appear. We stand in wonder at the process taking place and give the plant the care that it needs at each stage of its growth. The zinnia is a zinnia from the time it is a seed till the time that it dies. Within it, at all times, it contains its whole potential. It seems to be constantly in the process of change. Yet at each state, at each moment, it is perfectly all right as it is. So
That
yeah,
was perfect. It was perfect.
thank
It's
you.
going to
So
be,
and that's the whole point of like just owning like what is our own true essence. And I'm really, really excited to be on this journey and to be in sisterhood with you, Sheryl, and to have the opportunity to do this work. So thank you.
ditto, my friend. We are going to keep on keeping on in our transformational journey and shining our light bright and helping those shine theirs.
Yeah. Yes, we are. Thank you so very
Love
much.
you so much, girlfriend.
Love you too. Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.